Facebook, soon to return to Instagram. We have both of the lovely ladies here, Renikia and Adria, and I'll pass it over to AP.
Really? You don't know my name now? That's just
I know it.
Disrespectful. How you doing today, Miss Renikia?
I am awesome. How are you today, Adrian?
Well, glad to have you. As Ty mentioned, this is Flip Show number 99. We're rapidly approaching 100. We will probably skip next week with the being coming up to Mother's Day. But guys, as mentioned last week and the week before, look forward to the information on the celebration for that 100th Flippinar. While you're just joining us, go ahead and tag a friend, bring someone along for this hour-long conversation in regards to real estate, especially wholesaling. As Ty mentioned, we have the beautiful Miss Renikia here and myself, and we are live across YouTube, Facebook, and we're currently still not up on Instagram, but building that subscriber list back up. So if you have not joined Flipman IG on Instagram, please go and do so. Also, like, subscribe the YouTube and Facebook channel. And here, without further ado, we're going to jump right in. Crystal, I see you on Facebook, and let's see what we have on YouTube. We're live. We have 41 there. So giving shouts out to David Thompson, Terrell Harris, Chaz, Moses, Rhonda from New Jersey, Aaron's, Joseph, Matt, and let's see who else we have. Sherelle and Wit level up now. Hi and welcome. Guys, you post your questions. I read the questions and they will be answered. Let's see here. No questions as of yet. Everyone just saying hello. Renikia, how's your week been?
Hey, how's my week?
Yeah.
The week is awesome. I mean, the weather been great and business been amazing.
Okay. Let's see here. What is happening in real estate right now that maybe our subscribers, viewers need to be aware of? Any trends, any terms that they need to know about?
I would just say, there's a wave going on right now. And there's a lot of areas that's being gentrified. There's no way around areas being gentrified because it's growth. It's just growth in the economy. So I just recommend for people to ride that wave, get into the local real estate in your backyard and go out there to gentrify your own neighborhoods before those other people do. So.
Okay, and just so people know, I guess a lot of people, I think about Boys in the Hood when Lawrence Fishburne is sitting on the curb talking to the kids about it. I guess it's by definition, gentrification is the process of renovating and improving a house or district so that it conforms to middle class tastes. And so many would say an area, specific areas undergoing rapid gentrification. So when you put it in perspective of a definition, you automatically think lower, I guess we call them the C, D, if there's a possibility of E areas. And it has like a negative connotation to it. So I guess what you're saying is not necessarily negative, right? It's
absolutely. So I think is there a way of making an area or district negative? So that negativity, the high income areas, the poverty, all of that increases or decreases the value of properties. So if they put that stigma on those areas, it creates low property values in these areas, which allow the rich and the wealthy to come in bulk and buy these properties up because they're so cheap. And just to, go a step farther in gentrification, Google the opportunity zones in your area. These opportunity zones are areas that have already been redlined by the state or the local government that these areas are high poverty areas, poverty areas, and these areas has very low property value, but a lot of times they won't redline an area unless it's valuable to them. So don't allow them to make you think that these are rundown areas. They have redlined these areas because it is opportunity, and the opportunity is for the person who sees it. So seize those opportunities in your area, find opportunity zones, which the local government have already identified these areas to be low value but high value areas, because they won't redline them unless it's value to them. So that's a great start, is identifying those opportunity zones in your area.
All right, love it. Yeah, the process of kicking out the poor and bringing in the wealthy, I guess, but you know, at the end of the day, there's always going to be those areas, and there's always going to have some place for someone to live at every you know.
The thing about it is, you know, yes, it's for them to kick out the poor, but the poor is the one that owns these areas. So it's time we got to be educated enough, even in those areas. We own homes in these areas that they have identified. Just tell your people, don't sell to them, sell to you or sell to someone that looks like them. So you and the money stays in the family and things of that nature. It's going to be gentrified. These areas must come up. Who's going to get the money? You or them?
All right. Makes sense. Okay. Just a little education there. Hoping that several more people have joined us live, and we'll go ahead and start our questions. Ms. Sherelle Smith says she received her first call from a motivated seller today, and she's beyond nervous. So shake it off, Sherelle. Get over it, and you got this.
Do it with fear.
Infinite Power is your first time joining us. Welcome. Aaron's Unlimited has a question wanting to know how to stay focused when there are so many life distractions. Well, there's always going to be life distractions, right? When you agree?
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, that will separate the men from the mouse, being able to deal with everyday life, and then you're gonna have problems within the business also. That's part of it. Being able to manage life and your business life. Don't let those things stop you. If you're breathing and you got your health, now sometimes it's your health, then there's a whole different situation or whatever. But and everybody you care about got your health. Ain't too many things. It's just hard for me to wrap my mind around it. Everything else is going to be stuff that you just going to have to make some hard decisions on in most cases.
Absolutely. If you can't run, walk. You can't walk, crawl. At the end of the day, don't stop. Don't stop moving, regardless of what life brings you. It will never be a place in your life where everything is perfect and now I can just go out and do my real estate investing. My life is perfect. It will never be that. Responsibility hits you on a daily basis. It's time management. It's time management. I don't want to get Ty on his spill of how many hours we have and but it's truly time management. You just got to block out those distractions, get into your zone. You got to zone out and get it done.
Okay. From Crystal, she wanted to know, she asked me on behalf of someone else. Someone asked, what is the best way to market to out-of-town investors that may have an interest in investing where you live? Can you shed some light on that for everyone?
That's a really great question. I mean, you got to market where they are, where these out-of-town investors are. You know, they're most likely not going to be at your local real group. So you got to find strategies to market to international investors, and they are online somewhere. You got to find those pockets. I know a lot of times I used to use Craigslist a lot, because a lot of out-of-town investors, they may be in China, but if they want to invest here in Atlanta, they're gonna go to Craigslist and they're gonna Google, they're gonna look for all the real estate in Atlanta. So you got to be able to put your marketing in front of where they will most likely be or where they will most likely look. So you have Craigslist, you have Facebook. Yeah, Facebook that can take
LinkedIn.
certain areas and zones and regions.
LinkedIn also.
And
Okay. Sugar Bee wants to know, it's on PropStream, aka Dealulator.com, which I suggest many of you add as a tool to your wholesaling chest. She wanted to know if the market value listed there would be considered the same as the ARV.
Well, yes and no. And since you're bringing that up, I'll bring it up and to give you an example on how it actually works here. Let me see. Hopefully it'll go ahead and load here.
Okay, while Ty's loading Dealulator up.
It's loaded. It's loaded. It's loaded. It's loaded. It's loaded. Here's a property right here that let me see. Do I want to use this one or this one? Let me see. We only got a lot of comps on it. Okay. See how many comps on this one? Okay, I don't like that one. Let me use another one. Trying to find one with a lot of comps on it. I think this one does. Okay, this one has 20 comps on it. So to answer your question, like here it gives you an estimated value of 184, which with this particular property is probably going to be right in line, but you can't always go by that because it's taking in consideration pretty much all the transactions within that certain area, within a certain time frame of similar properties. So as you can see here on the actual comps map, comparable sales map, it's showing the targeted property, and then it's showing all the properties around it. Now, what I like to do is, and the things you see here in green, those were cash transactions or supposed to have been cash transactions. But what I like to do is I like to go from high to low initially when I'm looking at a property, and you have properties in here in the 280s, 270s, 260s, 259, 255. There's a lot of consistency there. So this one is a really easy one, but in reality, it's actually not an easy one because I actually know someone that lives a few doors down. And what's going on here, this property is it's in a subdivision, but it's a lot larger than the other properties in that particular subdivision. And so there are other subdivisions that butt up against it that can somewhat make it a little more difficult to come up with a true value on it. As you can see here, it says 2,091, and actually this house is about 3,300 square feet or whatever, but thought they made some changes to it. But just using this as an example, if I zone in here, I'm going to somewhat lock out some of the other comps here and start to get a little closer to that property. And then I do a search, right? Okay, so the 250, we got 250 right here, 215, then we got 180, 177, 174. That's where your consistency is at on this property. So in this case, it's in line with this 184 up here at the top or whatever. Because if you take in consideration all the other properties, I can go ahead and cancel this. And all the other properties that are around here, you're going to start to get that 280, 270, 260. And it can actually be justified because they're all under a half a mile. That's just going to sort of be up to an appraiser. He could justify this to get a loan on it or whatever. But if you just stick in that particular subdivision, that 180 or so is going to probably be the more accurate number or whatever. So just to hopefully answer their question. Mm-hmm. So you really want to dig into the comps is where I'm getting to, besides just going by this value. And you just need to do that anyway, just to understand what you're dealing with.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gigi and Mr. Charles from Baton Rouge. Thanks for joining us. Chris Sunshine and Adiola and Ayo Revilo. The next question is, in what order should we close the deal on closing day? Buyer before seller or seller before buyer? Who should we meet with first?
But you want the buyer to come in because you want them to fund the deal.
Exactly.
They fund the deal and sign off on it. Seller comes in a couple of hours later, it's done. If you get the seller to come in, they still got to wait on their money because it's not there. So you got, just think through it now. The money needs to be there. He signs off on his, the buyer, seller comes through, the deal is done. Because the most important thing is the money. Then you go down the line from there.
Okay.
Last thing you want to do is have the seller sign off on it, and then the money leaves, and then you can't fund the deal. So absolutely, you got to bring the money to the table first.
Okay. Marley on Facebook wants to know, what are some good questions to ask to build rapport and get answers you want?
From who?
I don't know. So we'll take this one and we'll just say, what types of questions are we asking our buyer to build rapport?
Asking the buyer?
Yeah.
The buyer is your seasoned investor. So what makes him happy is you continue to provide great quality deals that they could acquire, rehab, fix, and flip. So I think with the buyer, it's just a matter of, what exactly you're looking for. I have a database of properties, or I can go out and locate these properties. Tell me exactly what your criteria are so I can go out and find these properties for you. So, and usually if you continue to provide that buyer, that investor and buyer, weekly deals, you're going to end up building rapport with them because they can tell that you are really in the business.
Okay, same question in regards to a seller.
So a seller is kind of, it's a finesse game with the seller. You have to, it's not one way with the seller because you never know what issues or, what other parameters around the seller that is causing them to not want to sell or want to sell. So the key is just, build rapport from a personal standpoint. If you can, maybe you can relate something, maybe they like sports, or maybe they like to shop, or maybe they like, build some rapport from that and see if you have something in common. You may went to school with their kids or something, you never know. So you want to build rapport that way. But most importantly, you just want them to know that you're there and you're there to help them. These sellers don't want to be sold, or they don't want anyone to come in and take advantage of them. So you always want to come in as, I am your help reliever. I'm willing to, help you transition through this seamless and help you throughout the way. So just try to build rapport from a personal standpoint. However, if they're ready to sell, keep it about the project. Let them know how easy the transaction would be, how quick you can close, and things of that nature. If you want to, help them pay some of their closing costs, that helps as well. Everybody may not try to offer closing costs, so that may put you in the front if she's still dealing with a lot of people. So I'm pretty sure Ty has something.
Yeah, one of the things I think is really key is to do more listening than talking. Just let people open up with you, especially they're gonna, some people are not talkers because I'm not really. So, but as they're walking through their house, they're gonna, tell you about it. You ask them open-end questions. How old is the roof? The heating and air system. When was the last one? How old is it? When was the last time it was serviced? If it's a property that obviously needs a lot of renovations, and you're going to probably have a lot to talk about. And I normally, I went and looked at a house the other day. This lady, she was a talker. It was easy. I was over there an hour. Probably not. It's not a property that I can do anything immediately with because it's a tax deed property and she's trying to acquire the title to get a transferable title, a deed or title, whatever. It's still going to take a couple of months. But I think we had such a great conversation. I'm pretty sure she's going to call me back when she's ready to move forward. And it will be just a all-time deal for me if she does that. She's actually a flipper herself. She's been doing it since the 70s. But she was trying to convince me I need to start. Well, she assumed that I was a flipper, which I have done it. But she said I need to do the work myself. She was trying to convince me that I need to do the work myself instead of hiring a contractor. She said the reason she can't do it anymore because she needs a hip replacement. So I guess she wants me to go through the same thing, and several years.
So she renovate her own properties?
Her and just this other guy. Yeah. This
really?
guy she has to help. She likes to get it. I said, when she first brought it up, I was like, wow, but you can only do like one at a time when you do it that way. You know what I'm saying? And sounds like she's loaded. So who can I tell her, because the property that we were looking at, she wanted 125 for it. It was totally gutted. She had already gutted. It was in really bad shape. But 125 for it, 150 in repairs, but it's gonna be worth right at under 500. You know what I'm saying? So she's gonna let me have it for 125. And so 150, you only at what 275 then, so that's almost a whole nother 200 grand there, So without me adding my little cheese on it, but what I'm saying. But again, my point is that I was building rapport with her by just letting her just talk. She said, I don't want to hold up your time. I ain't got nothing else to do. So I was over there 45 minutes before I did my little video or whatever.
Talking for 45 minutes.
Yeah, so she was just talking. She had 2 lots next door she wants to sell or whatever. It's one of the hotter areas in our market. So yeah, like I ain't have nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? But even though it may be 2 months from now or 3, but I'm confident that because I gave her that time, she's gonna at least give me an opportunity, in the future. So we'll see. But it's just like I say, just do more listening and talking than anything. Some people can't help it; they like to just talk themselves. But I'm just giving the word. Do a little bit more listening than.
I don't know why you looking at me like I.
No, I'm just looking at it because
No.
But I like to listen to myself talk. See?
He direct that at you.
Emmanuel, you're more than welcome for the content. Thanks for joining us. Xenia says, is it a good idea to start an LLC for wholesaling if you are a realtor working under a broker to avoid conflict?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. And I'm going to say this in a very strategic way. I got to catch it. So if you are a real estate agent and you want to wholesale, you can do it 2 ways. Run everything through your broker and just give them a piece of the pie, because you can sell unlisted properties. There's a document, your broker document or real estate agent document allows you to sell unlisted properties. If you don't want to run that fee, no, I don't recommend you to put an LLC in your name. You want to find a business partner with someone, and put it in their name and run everything through your LLC or their LLC.
All right, there you have it. Let's see here. B-Boy says he has a question. Does the seller have to pay taxes after they sell?
Before we answer that question, please subscribe to the channel so you are alerted whenever we upload new videos and when we go live on YouTube on Thursday nights. Yeah, they got to pay taxes, income.
You ain't paying them taxes now. You got to pay.
Unless it's their homestead, and I think the law is for a single person. If you've been there more than 2 years, they can have I guess you would call it a profit, I don't know, of up to $250,000, but without paying taxes. And if it's a couple, up to $500,000 if they've lived in the house for 2 years. But if it's not, then yeah, you're gonna have capital gain taxes or whatever. So
Unless you roll that
into
profit into another deal, which is how you
1031.
really want to offset it. Just roll it into another deal within the same year.
Yeah, a 1031 exchange is what you're referring to? Yeah, okay.
Or 1031 exchange, or taking your profits and literally just putting it into another project.
Well, yeah, because that would be an expense. Yeah, so.
It's an expense, exactly.
Mhm.
Okay. Hackers has a question. This is on YouTube. Let me see. I hate this thing. I need my mouse. Let's see here. He says, I'm working with a seller whose home is worth 185K. She wants to sell it, but doesn't have central AC and heat. So no central heat and air. And no real estate agent has been successful at selling it. It also needs some updating. How can I convince her to go with me instead?
Selling it. Obviously, the other agents can't sell it. So my thing is, if a property doesn't sell and if it's on MLS, it has to be the numbers.
Yeah, it's just they're asking too much.
They're asking too much because properties don't sell. They sell themselves. So if your property is not selling, your numbers is too high. That's just what it is. A market is only, that's why I call market value, because the market determines the value. The market determines what your property is worth and how much someone should buy your property for.
Okay. Shaq Smith from Westside Detroit. Welcome. Glad to see you in the house. Noble, thanks for joining us from LaPorte, Texas, the 281. Terry Hill, you're more than welcome. Let's see here. Terry Hill has a question, Miss Renikia, and actually I'm gonna tie it into 2 or 3 that are on here. So Mrs. Hill wants to know, do you offer transactional funding at your company? I'm sorry. And someone else wanted to know, was 720 a good enough score to receive funding through you? I think so. I think
absolutely.
That's 680, right?
Me, the banks, Federal Reserve, everybody is lend to you. Absolutely. Absolutely. All you have to have is a 680 or higher to qualify for the gap funding program. But as you do know, you could qualify for a hard money loan as low as a 580 credit score. Now they tell you can qualify as low as a 580 credit score, but they will get their money out of you from a risk standpoint. You're either going to pay higher interest rate, a higher down payment, something of that nature, but you can qualify for a hard money loan as low as a 580. And yes, we actually just added the transactional service to our list of programs. So yes, we do.
All right, and Ty's going to put on the screen, if you do not know how to get in contact with Ms. Renikia, you can get that information on your screen there. And I know she just advised that you needed a 680 or more for the gap funding, and that her company just added transactional funding onto the services that they offer. But if you might be wondering what other services does FK Financials offer, and what else do you guys do, Renikia?
Absolutely. So we provide resources, which is the money you need to grow your real estate business and your real estate portfolio. Of course, yes, you can buy and sell real estate with absolutely no money, which is what we teach here every Thursday. But when it comes to really find, fix, and flip, you need a little skin in the game. So what we do is show you how to leverage your credit to be able to find, fund, and flip. Or you could find, fund, and hold and build you a rental portfolio. You can go to findmynextdeal.com to get access to the site that has all the programs there. We have a lot of programs. We're going to continue to bring favorable credit programs, because we understand credit is the gateway to wealth, and you must utilize it and find the best practices on utilizing it so if you can grow your investment in your business.
All right. Let's see. We have a question here, and this is from YouTube. and it's from Mauricio, who's taking a break from work to educate himself, but has a question. How do you work with agents that send you low market deals and on MLS?
That's a good question. I mean, when those properties on MLS, it's public knowledge, it's public record. So if you have a real savvy investor, they're gonna Google that property. That MLS listing will pop up. A lot of times MLS is synced with Zillow. That information is gonna be out there. So it's really honestly hard to move a property that's on MLS and that you're trying to move it at a higher price. So say for instance, it's out there 50,000, but you got that agent to put it on a contract with you for 37,000. Now you can market it for the same price at 49,000 or 47,000 and still make some money. But trying to market that property on MLS that's on MLS at 50,000 for 65,000, that's going to be a hard sell if you're dealing with a real savvy investor.
Okay, that's not a big deal. Okay.
Okay, so Brightseed on YouTube had a question. Not sure why you took it back because it was a really good one because it shows that you were watching videos, which there's over 370 plus videos that are available to each and every one of you that contains pretty much all. I feel comfortable in saying all the information you need to get started with wholesaling. But he mentioned that in one of your previous videos, you said that blood is on the street in reference to real estate. What did you mean by that?
Chaos. It's just chaos. Not literally blood is on the street, but chaos. Like 07, 08, 09 was chaos, whereas real estate was one of the main contributing factors, the mortgage industry, which was related to real estate. It was a great time to buy real estate. Where I was caught with my pants down, like down for real, is I wasn't ready to take advantage of those opportunities. There was going to be a lot of cheap real estate available, right? You know, people like, you know, everybody saying there's something going to happen. Yeah, it's going to something happen. I'm sure it's not going to be the exact same thing that happened before, and it may not even be real estate related or whatever, but it's always going to bleed back to that in some form or fashion because we need shelter to live, and it's not free, right? And we need shelter to house businesses, which is not free in most cases. So there are going to always be opportunities to make money. You just have to change with whatever's going on in the market. At that time, I wasn't smart enough to know that. I was still fairly new to real estate, and all I knew is I was just making more money than I made the year before. I didn't know it was going to it could do that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so what I meant by that, when blood is on the street, he thought I said blood is on the steel, but blood is on the street like road, street, boulevard, just chaos. You know, when bad things are happening in a mass to the masses of either a particular area or in this situation, it was the entire world in reality or whatever. So it was a lot of opportunity to buy real estate. You know, that's when a lot of people build their wealth, is being able to buy real estate when it's really cheap and underpriced.
Wait for it. Wait. Buy. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Ha! I finally got a movie that you don't know where it comes from. Nah. Okay, so Miss Sherelle Smith received her first call from her only bandit sign. The power of that one bandit sign.
Ooh,
good. Is a motivated seller, house free and clear, no mortgage, but drum roll, it has tenants living in it. What do I do if the seller doesn't want me to take a walkthrough?
So you find a house with a tenant in there and the seller don't want you to have a walkthrough?
Right. Don't disturb my tenants. Don't go bothering them.
Well, you have to set the expectation. Sir, I don't want to bother your tenants, but I will have to take a walk through the property so I know exactly what I'm purchasing. no one is going to purchase a piece of real estate without walking through it. So if that seller is really trying to sell, I mean, that just should be a given. There's no way in the world anyone is going to buy a property. I ain't going to say that. There's a lot of people buy properties like that. However, people from international buy properties like that, but they have someone boots on the ground that's going to walk that property, that's going to sign off on it. So at the end of the day, that should be a given that you need to walk through that property before you close. So you just got to set the expectation.
What has worked for me in the past on that, and sometimes in most cases the seller will suggest it, and if they don't, then I'll suggest it. But they always have the right to inspect their own property, and they have insurance on the property and things of that nature. Hate to lie to them, but that's the only way I can say it is. But hey, I'm the insurance guy or whatever, so we're gonna do new insurance on the property or whatever. So if you do that, you make sure you want to shoot a video. But as Renika said, some investors still are not going to be interested in the property. Not all, but most. If they still can't get either themselves or someone that's representing them to inspect the property. So when that's a situation like that for me in the past, if they like, well, I don't really want my tenants to know, blah, blah, blah. So now you do understand that with those stipulations, you're asking me to buy this property blindly. You got to give me a blind price, a blind price too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's livable because somebody's living there, but I don't know still the condition of the property on the inside. So I got to assume that we got to do everything. You know what I'm saying? I got to, no, it's ain't good. No. I got to assume that, that repairs, we got to do everything in that. If I can't go see it. So that's how you have to, hey, that's negotiation. Okay. Okay. I get you don't want your tenants to know this or that. All right. Well, we got to talk a different price.
Exactly.
Let's go. Let's get it. All right. Renika, this is for you. And I'm going to Terry Hill. I will make sure that before we close out today that I put Renika's information back on the screen if you so happen to have missed it. She wanted more information regarding the transactional funding. And Joseph Alford had a question in regards to gap funding. He said he had a 680 FICO, but had many inquiries, potato, and a high credit debt. So he wanted to know, will he still be eligible? I guess without looking at it wholly, just off the top, what do you think?
We'll have to dispute or delete those inquiries. When I get those inquiries to be about 3 to 4 in the last 12 months, you get it with a savvy credit company. They will just tell them that you need to dispute your inquiries. They're hard but easy to come off. You just got to get with the right company. So get those disputed. And once you dispute those, your credit's gonna go up even higher than the 680. With the utilization, we have to stay underneath 30% utilization. So if you're above that, one of my quick fix is for you to just see if you can get a family or a friend or a colleague or a business partner to add you as an authorized user on their account. So say, for instance, you need about $5,000 to get your utilization below 30%. So what you'll do is go out and ask family members, friends, or colleagues if they will add you as an authorized user. Now, you don't use their card, you won't have access to it. It's just for you to beef up your credit so you can get funding. They can take you off within 30, 45 days. But most importantly, that's one of the most cost-effective ways where you don't have to pay down your credit. Just add an authorized user in there, and it will recalculate your utilization because now you have more credit, a larger credit limit.
All right, there you have it. Off-roader, no, I have not seen the end game. Ty has, but don't you go in the chat box spoiling it for nobody. But I did watch episode 3 of Game of Thrones. Come through, Melisandre and Arya. Okay, if you don't watch Game of Thrones, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but you can crawl back under it, and we'll talk about it later.
Oh, well, I need to crawl from under my rock. I got to get on this throne. No. I haven't watched one episode of this thing.
That's all right. You will secure in the bed.
I'm gonna take a Saturday off one day, and I'm gonna just.
No, you can't do it one Saturday. You're gonna have to take a whole week.
I got me a whole week. Oh man, how many?
At least.
Kimberly Simpson says, I was building a list and I was coming across owners with the same address as the property address. How would I know if that house is vacant without driving to the property?
You won't know if the property is vacant or not. If the homeowner address in the property records is the same as the address, they most likely probably still live there. Sometimes when you go there and the homeowner mailing address is different from the property address, most likely that's an investment property and they don't live there. So you won't know if it's vacant or not. I mean, there's no place in the tax record that say this property is vacant. So you won't really know.
Okay, let's see here. I lost my wholesaling. My people on that group. Let me go back and find them. Okay, another question is going to be for you, Flip. Have you ever bird dog? Okay, I'm trying to fix this. Have you ever bird dogged a property? And if you did, what did you do to bird dog? So maybe not understanding what bird dogging is, but would you do it yourself? It kind of defeats the purpose of what bird dogging.
Well, maybe they just asking, have I ever bird dogged the deal before?
Okay, yeah, go with that.
Maybe that's what they're asking. That's a good question. I'm trying to think, have I ever just like,
Have you ever gotten a deal from a bird dog?
Oh yeah, like the second deal I ever did was from the deal wasn't from a bird dog. The buyer was from a bird dog. I paid that guy $1,000, and it was a one-time hit for him. But that particular buyer bought so many houses from me, or whatever.
Wow.
So, but I'm trying to think, have I ever just like referred something over to somebody? I think I may have done it once. And they just gave me $500, whatever, something like that or whatever. It was just somebody I knew. I like, you just give me $500, I'm good, or whatever. So that's just not my thing. And I have a real old video that I did. I'm trying to think of the title of it, but it was titled like bird dogging versus wholesaling. And bird dogs have their place, just like wholesalers have their place, flippers have their place, agents have their place, or whatever, depending on what you want to do. But as far as wholesaling and bird dogging, I always like when people, if you're researching wholesaling, you can really write bird dogging out your mind, because if you truly are doing a bird dog job, because there's different levels of it, where you're finding the deal, negotiating it, actually contacting the seller and all, you're a wholesaler. You just need to put it on the track so you can capitalize on, max it out. But then some people are just afraid to do that. So they rather take 500, 1,000 or so they don't have to put their name on a contract. Okay, send it over here to me. I'll gladly give you that 500 or 1,000 after we close on it, after I get my money or whatever. So, because you've done everything a wholesaler has done. If you found a great deal, that's it.
I was almost about to say it go hand in hand, but I can see the difference from a bird dog is that they go and find a property and then they bring it back to someone and somebody else is a wholesaler. Yeah. So I would never consider myself as a bird dog. Learn the business and become a true wholesaler, because you're leaving money on the table and you're doing all the work.
Yep.
Okay. Tina, it was mentioned on the Facebook that she was trying to get in touch with you, Miss Renikia. She wants to know what's the best way to get help. Tina, I am sorry. I would ask you to reach out maybe again, call or shoot an email. I just did tell Renikia.
What did she say?
Look out for the name. On here it's listed as Tina, but maybe she'll drop her name and I'll just send it.
Well, yeah, we put all the handles up there. I'm gonna put them up there right now again.
Just email me, Tina.
Yeah.
Email me at funding@fkfinancials.com. Just let me know what service you're looking for and what exactly you need, and we'll definitely take care of you.
All right. Let's see here. Mona Love wants to know, are you mentoring, Ty? Always. Contact Ty@flipman.net.
205-492-3425.
That number. That way. Ahmad Safar, how you doing? And thank you for joining us on Thursdays. Thanks, glad to have you here.
Hey, anyone out there that just got the text message that has joined us live, if you'll just note either Facebook or YouTube, it was a link sent from YouTube. We're trying to see if that's working or not or whatever. So if you got a link, a text message, you got the notifications from YouTube, but you actually got a text message and you're here, let me know, please.
I didn't get one, and I'm here.
I'll add you to the list next week. You okay?
Thanks.
All right.
See how I get exposed? Nobody. Woo! That's why I talk to listen to myself. You know what Joseph Woolen started in January wholesaling. As of today, I still haven't closed on my first deal yet. I've been driving for dollars and on my regular job to and from work. I have a bandit sign magnet on my truck. No leads yet. Any guidance would help. What can we say?
So he has a magnet on his truck.
He has a magnet on his truck. He's driving for dollars to and from work, maybe taking alternate routes, looking at, vacant abandoned properties, writing it down. He just started in January. January isn't a long time ago. And it's long enough.
It ain't a long time for what he's doing.
He just wants some guidance.
Yeah. What's his name? What's my man's name?
This is Joseph.
Joseph, you just got, the magnet on the truck. I'm always going to side on not doing anything, right? You are at least doing something or whatever. But when you get into signage on a vehicle, I'm going to always side on placing the signage in the rear of your vehicle. Right. If you put it on the sides, you force people to try to find your message. If you put it in the rear, you put it, especially on a pickup truck, and I'm sure it's magnetic, you force them to see your message in traffic, a great number of people. Right. And so that's one thing that you could change immediately, just changing the sign from the side of your truck to the rear of your truck. And if it's magnetic, I would do a magnetic sign that covers the entire rear of my truck that says we buy houses, a phone number, and boom, you're going to get a lot of exposure just in traffic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but as far as the driving for dollars, I guess at the end of the day, it just depends on how many houses are you jotting down, and then more importantly, what are you doing with those that you are making notes on? What are you doing with those? But you gotta do more. At the end of the day, you gotta do more, a lot more.
Do more.
But don't stop. What you're doing.
But I can honestly say some of the best advertisement are those car wraps. But you're absolutely right. I was thinking about wrapping the MARTA bus, but the first thing we thought of was put the wrap on the back of the bus, because people really you driving next to them, and it's hard to see the bus if it's on the side. So that was a great tip. Just put it on the back, force people to really look at it and write your number down.
Okay. Now, as far as your text message that everybody got but me, Tristan got it, Terry, Torrin, Natasha, Noble, it's quite a Edgar.
It's working.
Yeah, a lot of people said they came because of the link.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yes.
All right, good.
Isaiah Toussaint got one. Let's see.
I'm spending some good bread on that. Y'all come on.
Make sure that thing working.
Let's see.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Yes, I got a text and I know it's on Facebook. Dang, that's goodness.
And we ain't got but 186 watching. That should have a 0 on it.
Okay.
Exactly.
28, so 30 minutes in.
Yeah. It throttles, meaning that it
I know
sends
what throttle means. It's like vroom, 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 vroom. It's like
over an hour. So some people, while I'm thinking of that, some people would get it late and the show would be over. Oh wait, we're live right now. It's 7:01 Central and 8:01 Eastern. So if you're seeing it after this, that means it ain't live. Feel free to ask your questions in the comment section of this video and any of my videos. As you can see, I'm very active in answering questions. You can go back on any video.
Actually, it must work. A lot of these names I haven't seen before. Hey Betty, hey Stanley, Hartensia, Miss Doreen, Tutti Frutti, what's up? Life, Murph,
Maybe it's
Daryl.
not showing in the numbers here then, because this is like normal for us.
Yeah, but
So,
I haven't seen these names before, and they said some of them got it, and it was already in progress. So yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Boom. That's what's up.
Richard Williams did his first deal in February. He closes on his second and third deal tomorrow. Shows on his fourth deal today, and he said he'll get it in 3 weeks. If so, the same buyer will have gotten my first 4 deals.
That's what's up.
Wow, that's good. That's good. You say you're making it Good Friday. It's not even Easter.
That's what's up, man.
I see.
That's what's up.
That's good. That's good.
How much bread, man? Just give us some bread numbers.
You find I call those residual buyers. They buy they keep
oh yeah, that's the name of the game, man. You want those repeat buyers.
You want those repeat
buyers. Okay. Let's see here. Is it a deal? Can we pull out Deal You Later calculator?
You already know it.
Deal You Later calculator.
Deal You Later calculator. Go to dealyoulater.com. You can sign up.
Can you get to the calculator without the membership?
Yes.
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
You know we on the number free here.
Yes.
Okay.
Calculator is
nice.
You can go to dealyoulater.com and the calculator is there. So the calculator is a free service provided to you by Mr. Ty Flipman. We're gonna plug and chug some numbers for Tiffany Clowers. She has a friend with a home she is ready to get out of. The ARV is 168.
I got it.
The repairs are 40.
Okay.
She owes 65.
Well, that's gonna come out of that. What was the price? Or that she hadn't given a price?
We haven't gotten one.
Okay.
It's just with those numbers. Is it a deal?
Well, she owes what?
She owes 65.
She owes 65, so that's under this 77 right here.
And it's about 40,000 in repairs.
Okay, we already got that plugged in.
Yes, and the ARV was about 168.
We got that plugged in.
Okay, so how much should she get this house under contract for it to be a deal?
Well, for her to make money, depending on how much you want to make, if you put in a wholesale profit of 10,000, and what'd you say she owed on it?
65.
Okay, the seller will walk away with $2,100 if you want to make 10. So if you change that to 5,000, the seller would walk away with $2,701 if my math is right.
Okay, so everybody gets a little something.
Yeah.
So a deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deal. You can help her out, Tiffany. Help Tiff and nice.
Yeah, so you're in the ballpark if she's willing to do something close to pay off. You have something here.
Okay. Sydney wants to know, have either of you ran a highest and best sale for any of your deals, and what needs to be in place to make sure this is ran properly?
Before we get into that, before I leave Deal You Later while I have it up here, you can access the 5-day free trial for the real estate tools of tools. It will make doing deals easier. It's not going to do deals for you. It just will make it a lot easier to do deals. Information is power. So 5-day free trial, $97 a month as the date of this video after the 5-day free trial. So I have several videos here on the site that explain how to use the service. I strongly suggest that you watch all of them before you actually sign up for it, so you don't waste your 5-day free trial, because the worst thing you want to do is get in there, I don't know what I'm doing, and I cancel it or whatever. So again, dealyoulater.com, go there for the free calculator. And of course, we showed you last week, you can fill out the 1-page contract that I've been giving away since 2008. I've been using it since 2003. You can fill in the information and you have your own professional agreement. I just released videos on both, on the actual contract itself and the calculator.
So the calculator and the contract is on dealyoulater.com.
See.
Okay. So
that's huge. That's very huge, Todd. This is really nice right here.
The difference between Deal You Later and PropStream. According, when we talk about the program, Deal You Later, aka PropStream, that's the same. But on dealyoulater.com, you have an additional free
Tools.
tool, which is the calculator and the purchase and sell agreement. So, hey, no brainer.
So there's no,
That's it.
let me explain what dig later when after you go and you see PropStream. I am a reseller of PropStream, but I brand it through Dealulator so I can control where it's coming from. I know it's coming from me. They know it's coming from me or whatever. I may change my mind and go in direction with my own version of PropStream. So I'm not just going to automatically just send it there. I'm going to control the narrative until further notice. So, but as far as the free tools, the free you can fill out the contract for free on the site, but you can also use the deal calculator on the site also. Those are free. You don't have to be a part of PropStream to use those. But as I showed you in the video that I released on Monday for the, it might have been Sunday, for the deal calculator, I showed you how to use the PropStream along with it to come up with your actual numbers. So again, I just tried to provide something that hopefully is just useful for you. Handwritten contracts are acceptable because we have not always had computers, typewriters, or whatever, but it just looks a lot more professional when it's all printed. And I try to make it as user-friendly as possible. I'm gonna try to see if my mama can fill it out when I go home for Mother's Day. If she can do it, then I know I did a good job or whatever. So.
No, this is really nice. This is really, really huge. This is nice. Yeah,
Thank you
you
very
did
much.
a great job with this site.
Thank you.
Angie Thompson, you asked where can you find this calculator again? I'm gonna say it. It's on Ty's shirt. If you can see it there, dealulater.com. Like calculator, but with the deal instead. Dealulater.com. Renikia, I got a question just for you. Okay, this is from Ebony. Now make sure you see what your response is going to be. Renikia, what would be your advice / opinion to someone who believes that there is an oversaturation of wholesalers in Atlanta and facing discouragement in finding deals?
Ain't possible.
She's facing discouragement in finding deals because she believes that there's an oversaturation of wholesalers in Atlanta.
I would just say, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, they're all on the same street. They're all next door. But they always all stay busy. So there'll always be competition. You go out there and find a pocket that may be less saturated. Maybe it's just a pocket that you know about. However, get into the competition. Put your bandit sign next to someone else's bandit signs because it's millions of houses out here in Atlanta. It's a lot more houses that have not been wholesale, renovated, flipped. So go to other little pockets that may be less saturated, but don't be afraid of competition. Let them know that you're there. McDonald's is not worried about Burger King because they know their fries is the best. So you bring something to the table when someone calls you, you give them the best service that they forget about anybody else that another bandit signs that they may call. You have to focus on, if someone called me, how do I make their experience so great that they want to deal with me? It's competition everywhere.
Billy Duncan adds on and says, in areas of Atlanta, most of the properties are owned by one wholesaler and a private investor. So I guess the reason I'm reading this question is because, guys, you're talking to someone who this is their backyard. So she's speaking from firsthand. I couldn't tell you. I could only assume that, hey, Atlanta is.
Who is that one wholesaler?
What is he talking about?
But absolutely not, though. I mean,
no, that's not possible.
It's impossible. Atlanta's
booming. It's like for me in Tuscaloosa, but I just told y'all where I'm from. But where I'm from, and everybody says Stan Payne owns the whole town. Did you see his name every freaking where? It seems like every building on every corner is owned by him. He does own a good.
It's all smoke and mirrors. It's an illusion.
But not all.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, you can't. 4 million people, one wholesaler, one real estate brokerage. It ain't possible. It's not possible. You could do 30 deals. It's May 2nd as the date of this video. It's May 2nd. You can do 30 deals before the year is out in Atlanta, and no one would know you have existed, and you've made a $500,000.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't
Absolutely.
possible, guys. Those
not.
are excuses because you see people out there doing it. Just like she's naming McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. That ain't even including all of the mom and pop burger operations that are doing just as much in sales as those. They just don't have them all over the world. But they locally, they doing just as much in sales. And just like with any business, you're gonna have a lot of people that enter it, right? And most people are not going to succeed. Not saying that's going to be you, but you can't allow that fear that because people are already doing it, that you can't do it. Nike, Adidas, Fila, or whoever, Reebok, New Balance, and Under Armour came out of nowhere. All of those companies had an immense head start on them. Now, I'll tell you something that you also should look up. Look up if you go to I guess either Google Play Store or iTunes. Look up the Netflix versus Blockbuster war. You're talking about Blockbuster. Some of you all may be too young to realize how big of a stronghold they had on the DVD, VHS, just the movie rental business, period. And Netflix basically, well, they basically put them out of business. Blockbuster sort of put themselves out of business because they was that big. But the point is, you had a company that came from zero, and the company that was there dominated, and they don't even exist anymore. They don't even exist anymore.
Exactly.
So, hey, that's what make this thing work, man. It's competition. You can't be scared of that. You, baby girl, you may not have played sports before. That's
right.
That's what it is.
You gotta get in. You gotta get in the game.
You gotta get in the game. Put me in. Hey, put me in, coach. I go for 40.
Put me in, coach. Absolutely. You gotta get in the game no matter what. No matter what. You may not be the MVP of the game, but you may shoot your shots. You're still gonna do your defense. Get in the game. It's enough money out here for everybody to eat. Especially
in Atlanta, Georgia.
Especially in Atlanta. Especially in Atlanta. There's a lot of talk out here.
It's a lot of talk.
Mirrors.
You're right. It's a lot of talk out there.
It's a lot of talk.
What?
Everybody wholesaling out here, but they tell it.
Richard Williams was the one that spoke earlier about closing on the deal since January. His first deal was $1,500 because he wanted to say, I did it.
$1,500.
And second and third was a combination of $6.
I can't hear Adrian.
This is Richard, who was speaking earlier, having the 4 deals since January, all by the same buyer. The first deal was $1,500, just to say he did. Second and third combined was $6,000, and the fourth deal is $6,500, which is set to close later, I think next week, he said. And they're all from Bandit Signs. They're all from following Ty and you and myself on YouTube, and all from using
we had to bring him back out for him.
Where he been? Where have you been?
What was my name is the daddy?
That's Tywin. Mountain, and that's Terry.
No.
Ooh, that was good.
That's Tywin.
Yeah.
That's a good way. That's the way to start a year.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
We said this was the daddy.
Okay, Tywin.
Woo!
That's
Get Gator.
references.
Get Gator.
But he said he did it all using the 1-page contract and a $10 earnest money deposit.
Wow, $10. Amazing.
LA Real Estate wanted to know, can you make the contract on Deal You Later editable? What else do you need to edit? You can plug and chug the information.
What you want to take out?
I'm not sure.
They insulted me.
It's fine.
You may want to.
I thought I did good.
They want to change it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Daddy, why do you ask for your socials on the contract? Don't worry about that part.
I should have deleted that part of. You are right on that. I should have deleted, but I didn't. I didn't tell my programmer to do it before I thought about it. Just put NA there. It's fine.
Not applicable, not available, whatever. You don't have to put that on there. A lot of people are sticklers about that. And we reiterate, this is the same contract that Ty has been using since 2003. So worked then, he just didn't change it. If it wasn't broke,
we did change a bit of it. We added the inspection period deal in there, and then we removed one. We did add that.
Very minimal change.
Yeah, just very minimal change. Yeah,
it works, guys. Don't overcomplicate. Don't overcomplicate it. Yeah.
Keep it simple.
I tried.
Okay. Let's see here. Kenita James says, I'm having a hard time in the Hamptons Road, Virginia area. Most of these homeowners are not realistic at all. It's going on a year and I'm still trying, but about to give up.
Don't do that. Don't give up. How many people are you talking to a day, darling? When I say talking to, I mean, how many people are you talking to per day to say they want to sell? Ideally, what you would want to be at least talking to 3 sellers per day, people that you've actually had conversations about. They want to sell, they gave you a price. Try to get up to that number, whether that's through driving for dollars, bandit signs, cold calling, direct mail, ringless voicemail, voice broadcast, social media, whatever it takes to get up to that number average. Over just a 5-day week, I would suggest 7, but we'll just say 5. That's 40. What is that? 3 times. That's 15. What is that? 3 a day. That's 15. 6. So that's 60 people you've talked to in a month. You should, over the course of a couple of months, be able to squeeze a deal or 2 out of there, and then you can ramp up your marketing. But we would love to hear, what are you doing to generate leads on a daily basis? It's hard to help you unless we know that answer.
Exactly.
And guys, I know y'all, I hope y'all love to hear the success stories, especially after hearing I've been trying this for a few months, or even like she said, a year, and it's just not working. But there's so many people that it is working for that I don't want you to get discouraged. We just have to figure out what you need to tweak for you that's specific to your area. Joshua Patterson, Flipman wants you to know you are the man. He lying, but okay, you're the man. I've done 3 deals so far this year. Didn't even know what wholesaling was until January 3rd. Got my first contract February 1st, and I've been doing well ever since. Hungry for the next. So, and in some areas, it's just going to be a lot easier. Some areas you have to work harder. That's not saying that there's no deals there. It's just saying that you have to work harder to get them.
And then sometimes you have to just simply get outside your comfort zone. Some areas just going to have more properties where they're going to be so leveraged with mortgages that just the numbers just not going to be there, right? So you got it. Now, if you're in a small town, ain't nothing you can do about that. So you're going to have to try to find where more people are. It is what it is. The numbers, people are people. You got to have enough people for sellers and buyers at the end of the day. But assuming that there is a decent sized population, you got to get outside the comfort zone. A lot of this is when, and the reason is I'm saying that because I talk to so many people, whether students, non-students, through text message, comments on the videos or whatever, and that seems to be a common thing. They always talk about where they live per se. No, you got to get beyond that. Where I live and where I do most of my deals, it's 30 minutes in any direction. Sometimes even farther.
I'm glad you said that, because Kodesh Gardens, she says, I'm in a different situation. I got it right here. I live in a rural area, approximately 24,000, and there's a lot of houses to wholesale, just not sure if an investor would be interested because the town isn't growing. So she would have to move to the next biggest city. Now, you do there?
Well, yeah, it's going to be limited on a town that small. You're just going to be limited. You know what I'm saying? Well, what's the next largest city to you? Is a question I would like to. as far as mileage, within an hour or 2 hours? What's the next largest city in that population, if you know? That ain't it. No, well, we ain't got much time. It's all?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, anyway, Adria's computer has went off, so I guess we're gonna have to end this. we have it plugged up. It powered down. So
okay, guys, we have 201 people watching right now on YouTube. We only have 48 thumbs up. So if you could take a moment, go ahead and hit that button. And if you have not joined us on Instagram, on the new Instagram page, which is Flipman IG, please do so. The other page is non-existent at the moment, but hopefully we can get that back up. This is show number 99. Next week is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers or the ones acting as mothers. Show 100 approaching, maybe not next week, the week after, but the date hasn't changed. May 18th, if you are near or around the Atlanta area, please join us for our live in-house studio, Flippinar.
Yeah, we're going to start to promote it heavily. We'll have some flyers. You'll see them on, I'll get it over to Renikia, and then I'll be posting it on my little stuff or whatever. So we're going to start posting it, promoting it pretty heavily here in the next, what is that? 2 weeks, within the next 2 weeks. So
yes, and it will be limited seating. So make sure you jump on that to RSVP when you see that. Please contact Miss Renikia. She's available across all social media websites, which is going to be Instagram, Facebook, and I don't know, whatever else is left. It's going to be funding at fkfinancials.com, or just simply search her name, Renikia Williams. That's REUNEKIEA. Renikia. Do not look up Rennie because that ain't her name. Okay. And if you have not joined the Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flipman on Facebook, please join that. And if nothing else to be said, we will see you next week. Thursday, we will send out this alert. I see some people saying they just got it at like 8:12 or 8:15 Eastern time. Maybe if we start sending out a little bit earlier, they'll get it at a time where they can actually log on. But you can always post your questions even after the video is done and it's not live, and Ty flips through there and will answer. You got anything, Flip? That's it. Game of Throners. See you Sunday. Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.